Well,
That
it's
filter.
What is
Nobody on here.
what's the problem?
No, I was just trying to see the filter. It's like.
You started it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nobody on here though. Well,
Just
one
leave it on
person.
a good one. That's fine.
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-5243. You know. 205-964-5243. You know.
There you go. 205-964-5243. Now you know. What's going on? Good morning, April 5th. Just like that. We're already in the month of April. Flipman's Daily Live, wholesaling real estate without using your cash or credit, aka Fliptainment. Morning, afternoon, Q&A, where we answer your questions about wholesaling houses, about wholesaling real estate, or just real estate investing in general, and maybe a few things that make no sense for entertainment purposes only, hopefully. So I hope everyone had a great weekend. Pretty much anything you want to know, you can text this number up here, 205-964-5243. Now you know. What's going on, ladies? If you want a free copy of the contract that I've been using since 2003, you want to learn how to fill it out for sellers, buyers, and how to get it signed quickly online, just text the word contract to 205-964-5243. If you want to partner with me on deals because you need a cash buyer, needs to be under contract, you're dealing directly with the owner, it's a great deal and it's off market, text the word, text the numbers 5050 to the number 205-964-5243. Pretty much anything you want to know, text the number, we'll reply back to it. So, on this live, you want to join, you can go to flippanard.com if you want to, or you can just text the word now to that number also, 205-964. We'll push you to the front of the live stream. You get multiple questions answered that way. So let's get into it.
All right, everybody from YouTube is saying hi, good morning. Lady K says she liked the new song.
Thank you very much.
Don't y'all hype his head up about this, please. This
Thanks to
one,
my man Dutch Jackson.
this one came from George Trent on Facebook. He said, "What's the best mail house to use for direct mail?"
If you'll text me the number, I'm gonna tell you also, but text me on the number and I'll give you that information. But I use this company out of St. Louis. They're basically experts on direct mail. If you'll reach out to them, you can go to mail2flip.com, but if you text me also on the number, the 205-964-5243, I'll send you that information also on how to they do their direct mail. One of the unique things that they do is the way they mail postcards, which is not so unique now because a lot of people are doing it now, but if you're talking about mass mailings where they'll put the owner's, the picture of the owner's house on the property to try to increase your response rate, get someone's attention, because that's the first thing you have to do to keep your mail from going in the trash is getting the person that you're sending to's attention. Hopefully that will spark them giving you a call to see what you're offering on their property.
All right, so I don't have any questions right now, but the title of this Q&A today is called "Who Are Motivated Sellers?"
Who are potential motivated sellers is the title of this particular live.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
Oh, I was just gonna say, how do they identify them?
Well, normally, see, you'll see the term motivated seller thrown around loosely, right? And you'll hear realtors say, "Oh, they're a motivated seller." Okay, the after repair value is 200,000. A realtor's definition of someone being motivated to sell is they drop the price from 200,000 to 195,000. That is not a motivated seller, right? Motivated seller is determined by price in my definition. Someone wanting 200, the house is worth 200,000, but they're willing to take 100,000. That's a motivated seller. Somebody wanted, if it's worth 200, they want none of 195. That's just somebody that wants to sell a house, which is fine. I'm talking about for in the mindset or what we're targeting. Price determines how motivated they are. Now, the reason why they're motivated is the next layer of that. Maybe more motivated because of they're just a tired landlord, which that's going to probably be the number one reason why most of the deals you get is someone that's tired of being a landlord, right? Divorce, death, job or income loss or reduction, unpaid taxes, pre-foreclosure, behind on their mortgage or whatever, relocation, property may need too many repairs. I guess I can go on, what else could it be? Medical bills, kids' tuition, it's just one word that describes it all, life, right? And you as a wholesaler, the reason we talk about bandit signs, direct mail, cold calling, text messaging, Facebook ads, Google ads, driving for dollars, ringless voicemail, door knocking is because you have to let them know you exist. And the numbers just take over. Your timing allows someone to see or receive your message that you buy houses because they are going through a divorce. You know, that timing may be perfect for that situation. That's why you're going to do an extreme amount of marketing. That's why it's so hard when you're looking for deals online and stuff. It makes it difficult. Not saying it can't be done. It's more difficult that way. Most people just can't hold up to that type of persistent searching because you have to look through so many to find that real motivated seller or whatever. So I think I explained that. So I guess we need to do that more over when we have a topic. I need to go ahead and explain it, and then we go into the Q&A. Some context here, at least. Well, I just assume at some point we're going to probably talk about.
Which we most of the time.
Yeah, but I just need to go into detail on it or whatever.
All right, this is the first question on Instagram. I got D later, was wondering what's the formula for scrubbing the list?
What's the formula for scrubbing the list? Well, if you watch the video on YouTube, text to Flip. If you text me on the number, I'll send you the link if you don't want to look it up. The 205-964-5243. In that video, I show you how to put the entire process together of text messaging. But the first part of the video, I show you how to build a list. So, if you just watch that particular video, it'll explain whatever.
All right, this is on TikTok. I found a vacant house. It's off market for $600,000 in the sewer and water taps. Would this be a good deal?
What's the ARV? What is the total repairs? There's no way for me to give you an answer on that.
All right, let me go back up. Okay, this one's from Diamond Thomas on YouTube. They said, how do you find good zip codes for virtual wholesaling?
How do you find good zip codes for virtual wholesaling? Obviously going to identify an entire city first. A simple way that you can do it is a little tedious. You can go to Zillow, would be a free way of doing it, and you're going to search. Well, you're going to change the criteria. You're going to do sold properties. You're going to do houses if that's what you're targeting. And then what you're going to do in that filter is you're going to say houses that are sold in the last 90 days. and you put the name of that city in there, it's just going to pull up a list of properties that are sold in that last 90 days. Now, each one of those houses is going to have a complete address along with the zip code. So now you have to make an actual spreadsheet and just start tallying up, which properties have sold and what zip code. Now, that's the free way of doing it. You could do it a little faster with digulator.com, aka PropStream. You can do the same thing as far as properties that have sold in a certain time frame within a particular city, and you can actually just download the entire list, and then you can sort it that way, and then you still have to count them or whatever, and that'll give you an idea of what houses have sold in that zip code and number. Normally that's going to tell you. So you may have one zip code where over the last 90 days, there have been 30 transactions, and another zip code only may have been one. So that's easy to figure out. That's hotter than the other one or whatever. And that may be where you need to target the one with the most sales in it, because that's where transactions are happening. So
would you say that's how you find hot markets?
Yeah, you just go by what has been sold. That's basically it. In a nutshell, you have to just look at the data and see what has sold recently, and the number of sales that have transpired in that area recently. I think I'm explaining that where you can understand.
All right, this is from Jared Daughtery on YouTube. She said, what would your first step be to finding the seller of an abandoned property whose mailing address is the same as the property which is obviously abandoned/vacant?
I would ask the neighbor. That would be my first step. Just knock on the door, a couple of neighbors, one next door, next across the street or whatever. Just ask them, this house is vacant. What happened or whatever. Normally somebody's going to know or whatever. That's your first step.
Okay, Frost Fiction Live.
If the address is the same as the mailing address is the same as the property address, is what we're trying to say.
Okay, Frost Fiction Live said, shout out to the Flip Man. And then our Bulls said, do you prefer PropStream or List Source? Oh, no, most definitely PropStream. For number one, it's a more overall, it does more than list. That's the main thing. Then I'm a partner with them also, but it does more than list, much more. Whereas list only does list. List Source only does list. PropStream does who is the owner. You can research a property who's the owner. You can build cash buyers list. You can build obviously motivated sellers list. You can research the property as far as actual value by doing comparables. You can actually do ringless voicemail in there. You can skip trace. It just does so much more. Now, List Source is pay as you go, whereas PropStream is a monthly subscription. So that's, but the reason why, because it offers so much more. So.
All right, back to that property on TikTok where in these sewer and water taps, they said they meant to say 64,000, and then the ARV you had asked about that was 350 to 400,000.
Well, if they're asking 64,000 is worth 300 grand, that's unless the repairs are 200 grand, that's going to be a deal. That's a no-brainer for one. That just still boils down to the numbers on repair. You still didn't give me an idea of the repair cost.
And then somebody else asked about how do you calculate the repair costs?
Well, a simple way of doing it, not always set in stone this way, but a simple way of doing it, if it's livable, $25, multiplying that time the square footage. If it's livable, if it's not livable, $40 per square foot.
All right, this is on Instagram. I read on Bigger Pockets that's using HUD. What is that?
HUD.
Okay.
They're trying to say HUD.
Okay, is that a good way to find houses, but they are bank owned? Would that be a problem for wholesaling?
Well, yeah, because just the process of a HUD, they control too much of the seller side of it. I'm saying it's not impossible. You have to have the right type of buyer, but for people starting out, no, that's a very difficult way to try to find leads or whatever. So is Mike working on their end on Instagram? Can they hear me? Is he testing? I guess so. Ain't nobody saying that. Okay, cool.
All right, this is on Instagram. How do you purchase county or state property?
Well, you just have to understand whatever their process is. You contact that municipality and ask them what's their buying process. If you're just trying to buy a property from a city or a county that owns it, just ask them what their buying process is. That's going to differ from state to state, county to county, city to city.
All right. Being that I'm 16, do the adult/parent get half of my commission from deals being that were on LLC?
Depends on what you negotiate. You know, what are they bringing to the table? Obviously, a signature that you can't provide because you're not old enough, but it's depending on what you negotiate with that partner, parent, brother, sister, whatever. What do you all negotiate? Hey, they may let you have it all, so just
That's
to
a good
get you
picture.
going in the right direction.
All right. Are there any single skip tracing sites? I drive for dollars and usually only need to look up 2 or 3 addresses at a time.
Well, Skip to Flip, will allow you to do that. You could do single searches. You don't have to do batch searches, multiple searches at once. You could do that's a paid option. Free options, that's just a Google search away on those or whatever. But, with Skip to Flip, you can do that, just single searches if you wanted to.
All right. Jared Daughtery from YouTube said, what would your first steps be to locate the owner or next of kin of a property if the owner is deceased and the property is distressed?
Well, again, you would ask the neighbors starting. Mm-hmm. Now, once you, say you have to get beyond that. Now, what you would do, you need to skip trace that person that died along with the known addresses of that individual. Now, a service that you can use is called Intellus.com, INTELIUS.com. It'll give you potential relatives. Now you have to skip trace those relatives and reach out to them.
Dow Property Solutions asked, oh, this is the same thing. I found a house, but the owners are deceased. How do I get it under contract?
Same thing.
Okay. Frost Fiction Live asked he said, if you wholesale a house with tenants, the tenants are now the responsibility of the new cash buyer, correct? And if your wholesale deal has tenants, it is harder to find a cash buyer.
Yes, on the first part of it, yes, the new buyer, owner/owner, is now, those are his tenants now, if he agreed to buy it with those tenants. And yes, it can be more difficult to wholesale a property with tenants. Just depends on the tenant. Or they paying number one, it depends on the buyer. That is end game. Some people like to buy them already rented, especially if it has a good tenant in there. They call it turnkey. They just buy it, don't have to do anything to it in a lot of cases. So that's just going to depend on the buyer. Yeah, go ahead and do it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Felicia Jones from YouTube said, close to getting started, but a few questions. Paying taxes on money made, and how do I find out rules in my state of Indiana to wholesale? Thanks.
Well, as far as the taxes part of it, you want to reach out to a CPA on that part of it. It's really that simple on that part, which is a good problem. That means you're making money. You got something to actually be taxed on. But as far as the rules in Indiana, it's no different than anywhere else. Just get out there and get started making it happen.
All right, this is on Instagram. How can I wholesale it to yourself? How can you wholesale it to yourself for a first-time home buyer without a realtor license?
How can you wholesale it to yourself?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
If you could be a little bit more clear on that question that someone's asking.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. How can you wholesale it to yourself and no realtor?
For the first-time home buyer. So I'm guessing they want.
No. If you're trying to buy a house to live in now, that you're gonna need a mortgage and loan. Now it's not gonna work that way. You scratch that. Now, if you're trying to buy a house, you could buy a house owner financing, where a bank is not needed, but it's still not wholesaling it to yourself or whatever. So.
Okay, is the wholesaling contract the same when the home is owned by a trust?
Yeah, but that's the trust, just the owner's name. Still some human beings are behind it. So yeah, same thing.
All right. This is a good one. This is
that Instagram is working. Test. Yeah, on Instagram, can you guys hear us? Like, Yeah, I guess
Nobody said
they had already said something. But it's not moving. It might be because it's picking up over there. Because it's not.
Oh, is it low?
Is it? Yeah, is it low? Um, it's on my end over here. But yeah, it's not moving at all when I talk. Let me see. Let me just-
Brief intermission, you guys.
Oh yeah, on Instagram. There it is. Okay, it's moving now. Okay.
All right.
Okay, we're good.
All right. We Buy Houses Cash from YouTube said, does child support take their cut off wholesaling checks? Look, that's a good question.
No,
No, it does not.
it doesn't.
But handle your business.
Yeah, handle your business, man.
All right. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Let's say.
Huh? That's something different though. You know, like that means your account. I don't even know if they can. I don't know. I'm glad I don't. But I don't know if they can just go into your account like that or whatever.
But shouldn't you be putting it, if you made it a business, shouldn't you be putting it in your business account?
Yeah, you would be put it in a business account or whatever. So,
You
but
get-
still can go.
yeah.
It still can go. It still
Yeah.
can go. Well, now you just withdraw. You ain't paying. It's just withdraw. Yeah, yeah. So, but you can still, but you can put it in your name again. I don't know if child support just will zap your bank account like that. Well, yeah, you got to file taxes and all that stuff. I'm just saying, but you know, I don't know, man. I know these child support situations are complicated, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it. You laid down with this individual. Should have thought about that before you did it, or whatever. Handle your business.
All right. Alicia Sparkle said, hey girl. I hope the day is going well. Is it easier to wholesale land?
The easier I couldn't say that. You know, number one, the biggest one of the biggest issues with land is determining what the value is. So it's harder to backdoor the deal. That's really what you have to always be thinking in. How can the investor make money off of this? And land is hard to determine that because a lot of times you can't figure out how much it's worth or whatever. So to say easy, I'm going to say no, but it's definitely possible, you know, because people doing it. But I wouldn't say it's easier overall.
All right. This one is from Frost Fiction Live. He said, if you're looking to buy a house with hard or private money, how do you make sure you can, refinance with the bank to pay back your loan?
Well, all those ducks need to be lined up before you even enter into that type of deal. You need to be approved by a bank that they're going to allow you to cash out a property or whatever. So all that needs to be lined up before you even enter into those types of deals.
All right, this is on Instagram. Do you use your own name or LLC when buying a house?
Well, yeah, LLC, you know, but I started out in just my name or whatever I did. So, you know, a few deals in my name. Again, if you can afford to get an LLC or some form of an entity in motion and still have a marketing budget and plan, then yeah, you want to do it. But if you can't do both at the same time, go ahead and start the market and make some money. And after the first deal or two, then establish an LLC. It's not going to kill you to do one or two deals in your name. What's your name?
This is on TikTok. Can you wholesale a property with multiple liens?
Yes, as long as either one or two things, the liens are less. What? As long as the liens are the total amount of the liens are less than the amount or the price that makes the deal work for you, or the seller's willing to bring money to the table to make the deal work. Option B is normally not going to happen. You got a better chance of probably winning the Georgia and Alabama lottery at the same time. And guess what? Alabama don't even have a lottery. So it's going to be very difficult to do that way. So.
All right, what's the best, cheapest way to get leads?
The cheapest way?
Yes.
Well, always free is going to be the cheapest way, but assuming we're going to take free off the table. Well, see, that's subjective because driving for dollars could generate more leads than it could generate leads, but how much of that is going into your time? It's going to cost you gas money. Fuel, the cost of fuel, or gas, or whatever. So, but anyway, so you could be out of $100, maybe a couple $100 before you get a deal. Now, the next layer of that would be, like I said, we're taking free off the table. Would probably be text messages, setting up a text message campaign or banner signs. Well, and then cold calling probably going to be even cheaper than those because now you're only just buying a list or whatever. You can spend $100, $150 on that or whatever and just roll through that list. So those are going to probably be the cheapest methods, taking free off the table.
Do you have any names for the Facebook groups to find buyers?
To find buyers? I don't know if some person say to find buyers. You're going to have a lot of real estate investment groups on Facebook where buyers are probably frequent. So it's just going to be, a ton of them. Just depending on the city that you're targeting or whatever, you're going to have a ton of just real estate investment groups on for that probably particular city that you can tap into and start networking, seeing what people are looking for.
All right, this is on TikTok. Are you a contract purchaser? And what states would you consider? I'm in North Carolina.
Well, what we do, again, if you text to 205-964-5243, we partner with an individual. We'll place a buyer with their deal, and we split the deal depending on how you want to go about it, 50-50, or you just give us a price and whatever we make above that we keep. But it needs to be under contract, obviously. You need to be dealing directly with the owner. It's a great deal, and it's off market. If that's those different criteria fit, let's get it.
All right, is Zillow a good source for property for wholesaling?
Well, Zillow can be used. I don't know how good of a source it is. It won't be for everybody because trying to target properties that way, properties that are for sale on Zillow, I would target the property that's for rent first. But they're already for sale. They're being advertised to the world. It is possible to negotiate a better deal than what is being advertised there, or someone's trying to rent a property, transition them over into selling. You just have to have the right type of buyer if it's for sale on Zillow because you're not finding something that they couldn't look up themselves. Again, you may have negotiated into a great deal, but you just got to have the right type of buyer because a lot of buyers don't like to deal with stuff that they could have found themselves because it's already advertised for sale. So,
all right, Frost Fiction Live X, how much more should someone expect to pay on repairs if you're in California?
I don't know if it's that much more or not. Again, once it gets into a higher end type of property, the countertop in one neighborhood may not cost the same as a countertop in another neighborhood or whatever. But just generally speaking, those repairs, they'll normally be the same.
All right. Jared from YouTube asks, if the neighbors aren't willing to speak with you about an abandoned or distressed property that has the same mailing and as the physical address, would you begin the probate process?
Would you begin the probate process? I guess, yeah, that would be your next step is to research it that way or whatever to see what the county is showing. If anything has been filed, it may have not even been anything filed, but that's where I would start is at the county level, see if anything has been filed to try to settle that estate.
All right. Real estate investors ask, can someone wholesale a foreclosed, auctioned, and then they also asked about a fire damaged home?
If a property is an auction property, no, you can't wholesale that. Can you wholesale a damaged yeah, if the fire damage is just repairs, just depending on how extensive the fire damage is there. Does the repairs exceed what makes sense? You know, sometimes it's burnt so bad it just has to be just demolished, demoed, or whatever. So now you're just dealing with just a vacant lot. So that's another ball game.
All right. Kiana Jones from YouTube said, if the property needs a full rehab and there are at least 2 comps in the area, would you say it's safe to try and get it under contract and resell to a cash buyer?
Okay, so if the property needs a full rehab and there are at least 2 comps in the area, would you say it's safe to try and get it under contract and resell to a cash buyer? 2 comps is not a lot. Now, if it's 2 comps because you don't want to cross over a main street, that's one thing. But if it's just 2 comps, period, it may be difficult to wholesale a property there because you may not have enough cash buyers. KJ.
All right, this is on TikTok. Have you had any success with True People Search?
I've used it before. It's free, so you know it's gonna give and take. Sometimes it's gonna be worth it because it's free. Sometimes not. You know, so it's free. Now, why not give it a try?
All right, you already answered this, but can you wholesale a house to yourself?
Well, you can wholesale a house to yourself. What they were asking on the other question is different. I used to, when I was buying, fixing, and flipping, when I had that on my mind that I needed to do that or whatever, I would put the property in the name of one LLC on the contract, and then the one that I was going to buy it in as far as me being the buyer and wholesale it to the other. So I would pick up an assignment fee at closing, you know, and the hard money lender didn't trip about it, you know, so yeah, it could be done.
All right. Your very first deal for $2,500 that fell through, if it didn't fall through, who were the monthly payments going to? You or the pastor?
Oh, no. You confusing. The $2,500, the one that closed, that was the wholesale deal. The lease option deal, he said if it didn't fall through, see if it didn't fall through, what?
If it didn't fall through.
Yeah, if it didn't, the lady gave me $5,000 down as a deposit on that lease option. If it didn't fall through, if it didn't, you know, if it did work, that's what we're trying to say. Mm-hmm. Then the monthly payments would have went to me, and I paid him to pay the bank. But when you send out money, when you send him his money, or you may send it directly to the lender, depending on how you negotiated the deal. You don't put it in his name, you put it in the lender's name. You don't want to get in the way of that because his financial situation is not going well. He starts spending the money. So if you're sending them the money, you want to put that payment in the lender's name. Now, if the payment was $1,000, but you agreed to pay them $1,100, the owner, you still would send $1,000 in the lender's name and then $100 in the owner's name. You need to separate those two because you don't want his life to dictate him making a bad decision and get you in a bad position, rather.
All right. Do you use PropStream that is on TikTok?
I'm a partner with PropStream. You can access how I use it. Just go to dealulator.com. That's dealulator.com, DEALULATOR.com. And I'll show you the top 10 ways I use that tool with. Or you can just text me and I'll send you the link to 205-964-5243. Text me and I'll text you back.
All right, this one's from Valerie Davis.
Oh.
She said, there's a vacant house 2 doors down from my mother. It's been vacant, I know, for over 10 years.
Oh.
Someone comes and cuts the grass. However, the house needs repairs. I want to leave a letter in their mailbox or on the truck that stays parked in the driveway. Is that a smart or bad idea? I'm also doing my due diligence to find the owner on the county website.
Yeah, I'm going to always side on doing something. So it's obviously some activity there. Your owner, they're maintaining the grass or whatever, having someone to come over to cut the grass. Now, the person that may be coming over to cut the grass may not be the owner. It may be someone that they're hiring to do that or whatever. So, but yeah, so leave a letter on the door. But then I would definitely try to skip trace and find the owner where you can either mail them, call, and or text them.
All right. At Apple X, how do I get the contracts?
You already got that one up. Put that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just text this number.
Yeah,
You're
just
on
text this
YouTube,
number. It's
so-
right there on the screen. Just text the word contract to 205-964-5243.
Oh, that's the closing sheet.
Now you know.
Let's see. That's the contract one.
Yeah.
Okay. Kiana Jones asks, do you have any tips for wholesaling virtually?
Well, Kiana, aka KJ, you're going to be doing the same thing that you would locally, right? Everything you do, everything the same thing. You're marketing everything. The only difference is you're not there. So you're going to need someone either consistently or in spots to do some of the grunt work because you're not there. You're going to need boots on the ground to maybe just simply put a lockbox on the property, to simply keep if the property, when the property needs to be shown, sometimes the owner will not provide a key to the property, or the property may be occupied. So when buyers come out, you need someone there to represent you. Now, sometimes you can have a conversation with the buyers, like, man, I'm in Chicago, the property's in Atlanta or whatever. So I've already negotiated this deal, I'm wholesaling, blah, blah, but you still don't know that individual. You know what I'm saying? And that may work sometimes. Sometimes the one may blow up your deal because they're just saying, hey, this dude in Chicago, he ain't trying to buy this property for real, blah, blah. So you need someone that represents. So that could be a friend, a family member. It could be another wholesaler that you built a relationship with. It can be a realtor, whoever, but you need someone there to verify. But everything else, you're going to do the same. You're going to do the same.
All right, this is on TikTok. What key things do we need to know to cross over from residential to commercial wholesaling?
Well, you have to understand the different types of commercial property. You're going to target probably one or two, I don't know, you may target them all, I don't know. But the difference is understanding how to evaluate a commercial property to know if it's an opportunity or not. Is it really just there? Because whereas houses are just houses. You know, you go through the same process, I don't care if it's in Birmingham or if it's in Milwaukee. You know, the process is going to be the same to evaluate a house or whatever to see if it's a potential deal. But with commercial, it's going to be different. You have self-storage, you have multifamily, you have retail space, you have office space, you have medical space, you have industrial, you have motel, hotels. What am I missing? You know, it's just different. Warehousing, industrial, so I guess be in the same lane or whatever. So those are all evaluated differently. That's it. So it starts, it's still same thing. You got to educate yourself.
All right, this is on Instagram. I have a seller asking for verification of funds available for closing.
So they say they can hear us on Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, okay.
How do I go about getting that? So proof of funds.
Proof of funds?
Mm-hmm.
Just text me. I don't think I got one proof of. Just text me 205-964-5243, and I'll send you the service that I'm affiliated with. But you know, and we'll go from there. Just text me on the proof of funds.
How does the title company work? Do I have to send both contracts at the same time or one at a time?
Well, ideally, if you have a deal in place that you're trying to close, you're going to send both contracts at the same time. And I have what I call a closing detail sheet where it explains who's the seller, who's the buyer, the sales price, who's paying what, and who's about to receive what, and which includes your assignment fee, who's paying closing costs. If you want a copy of that particular document and how to fill it out, you just text the number 205-964-5243. The word close, CLOSE, and that video will show you how to access that document for free and also how to fill it out and use it.
All right, this one's from Tamara Fisher. She said, hello and thanks for all the great content. What software do you recommend to get started virtually? I have PropStream, Reskip, Batch Leads, and Deal Machine for my driver.
Oh,
do I need all of this, and what's the order to use them in?
Well, pretty much all of them sort of do the same things. It just depends on what you're going to be doing to generate leads. Are you text messaging, cold calling? You're paying people to drive for dollars or what? It just depends on what you're doing. Cause like Deal Machine, PropStream does the same thing, right? The app does the same thing. So I'm a reseller of PropStream, so I'm gonna definitely say get rid of Deal Machine, right? It's just being real.
Mm-hmm.
So they do exactly the same thing as far as that or whatever. I think PropStream does a lot more. Well, I don't think I know it does. And so the other two, what was the REI Skip?
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I have my own thing there, so roll with it or whatever. You want to roll with what I got going on. But Batch Leads and PropStream are probably the ones I would definitely keep. But I'm partnered with those, so I'm going to be a little biased on that. So.
All right, Frost Fiction Live asks, if you're looking to fix and rent, would you recommend hard or private money? Is there a big difference?
That's the same thing. Those are the same thing. Private money, hard money is a form of private money. Same thing.
Okay. Extreme Home Properties asks, do you have a video tutorial on the Driving for Dollars feature on the PropStream mobile app?
Yeah, just look up Flipman app, and that video shows you how to drive for dollars with it. But also you can look up I forgot what that's titled, but I think you'll pull up both of them actually.
All
Fast
right.
driven also.
Cooley Fool from Facebook asks, what contracts do you use for lots?
Well, it's just a different contract. It's more just catered to land, the one that I use, or whatever. But that's just a Google search away. Tell you what, Cooley, if you'll text me, I'll see if I can. I don't know if I can text it back to you. I may be able to set up a link or something. You text me to 205-964-5243. I'll send you the one that I've used in the past.
All right, this is on Instagram. So I tried to use skiptheflip.com and it sent me an error message, then a link to a different site called Skip Vault. Is that the same thing? Is it okay to use?
Yeah, Skip. Look at it this way: is that Skip to Flip is just basically the door to get you to Skip Vault, because I'm an affiliate. I'm a partner with them. So yeah, that's the way that works.
All right, this is on TikTok. Do I have to attend closing? And how does the end buyer know when the closing date is?
Well, that can't even be set up without everybody knowing what time to come, what day to come on. You can't set up a closing unless everybody, especially the seller and buyer, are in line with that or whatever. As far as you being there or not, just going to depend on how it's set up. If it's where they're going to be actually face to face, then you need to be there, because that may be the only time, or someone representing you or the buyer, and you have that good of a relationship or whatever. But it needs to be an understanding there, or you're going to have to be there, someone representing your interest, because that may have been the first time that they've ever met, if it's set up that way.
All right. This is on TikTok. How much for your one-on-one call with you?
One-on-one call? I don't have a one-on-one call per se. I have step-by-step courses which come along with me coaching you through unlimited deals. Just text me at the number here, 205-964-5243, and I'll be happy to give you that information.
All right, this one's from Kiana. She said, your one-page contract is good for on and off-market deals, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Dow Property Solutions asks, can you wholesale a house that has no equity?
As far as a cash deal, no. It has no equity. That's where the money is made. And that's where the profit is, and how much equity is available to absorb maybe repair costs, profit, paying you, or whatever. No. So to answer the question, as far as a wholesale deal, no.
All right. Mr. Hemi907 from YouTube said, I have my contacts, LLC, and my EIN. Is there anything I'm missing?
Well, no, that's part of the process. You have to just go through the rest of it with your. He say I have my
contacts, LLC and my EIN.
I guess you mean contracts.
Yeah.
I guess you mean contract. Okay. Yeah. So yeah,
I'm thinking like he got some buyers or
to establish the
something.
LLC, you had to get the EIN. So yeah, so you ready to rock.
All right. Josh M said, I'm showing a property. How do you keep the buyer from interacting with the owner? How does a wholesaler approach this situation?
Well, you explain to the buyer their role. You're the buyer, and you explain them your role. I'm the wholesaler. I've already negotiated the price. You can, if a situation where the seller and the buyer have to meet because the buyer wants to view the house because the seller won't give you access to it without them being there, then you just have to make sure your buyer knows what his role is. You know, he wants to ask questions about the property itself and the history of the property to the seller, that's fine, or whatever. But as far as negotiating price, that's between you and them. So you have to just make sure they understand that before you even get out there. If they're not cool with that, then that's the one you don't need to show the house to or whatever. They don't have a good understanding on that. So.
All right, this is on Instagram. The main problem I'm running into is finding the owners for the distressed properties.
Finding the owners of distressed properties. Well, what are you doing to find those owners? I guess would be the question. The process, obviously, again, as I told KJ a moment ago, I think that's who was asking that, or
they said they're using Fast People Search and True People Search.
Well, again, those are free services, so those are going to be limited on how much information they're going to provide. Again, you can ask the neighbors, or you can spend 25 to 50 cents, skip the flip to see if you can determine what their phone number is, or if you can just send them something in the mail. If I send it, I'll send a UPS or FedEx when you're talking about a small quantity like that.
Okay. I'm not sure if this person heard you earlier, but they said I've tried to skip trace through PropStream, but no number.
If it didn't pull up a number, then you have to go to the next level of skip trace. It could get more expensive. You can find them, but it's more expensive skip tracing services out there per skip or whatever. So.
All right, this is on Instagram.
Then again, send them something in the mail. If you can't get a phone number for it, send it to them, FedEx or UPS, asking them to buy the house and your contact information.
Okay, this is on Instagram. How can I find comps for rural properties in the countryside?
Well, the thing about that is not going to be a lot of transactions. If there are not any comps pulling up, then that's what are you trying to? If you're trying to wholesale, that lets you know that you're not going to be able to wholesale it, or it's going to be very, 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 very difficult to wholesale. Because that means if there are no comps, normally that means no buyers. Normally.
All right.
Unless it's some type of specialty property that can be a hunting lodge or something like that, or got a lake on it or something. Other than that, man, there's no comps, no buyers.
Okay, this is on TikTok. Do I have to let the seller know that I am wholesaling their house?
Well, the thing about it, just like you're here asking questions and you're actively trying to learn how to do this, and you still have tons of questions. Assume that you're trying to explain this to a owner of a property. They're not going to want to do business with you because they number one to say this doesn't exist, it's not real, or whatever. You're trying to scam me. No, they just don't understand. So when people don't understand something, is the natural reaction, especially in business, to pull away. I'm not going to do business with you because I don't know what you're talking about. That's the main reason. Plus, it's not important. If you can perform, it doesn't matter where the money is coming from. It's not like you're doing anything illegal or whatever. But the main reason is just to cut down on the confusion when you're trying to explain that to them or whatever. The contract says you are the buyer. It's legal to assign that contract over to someone else, and you get paid an assignment fee.
All right. John M. said, in showing a property, how do I keep the buyer from interacting with the owner? How does the wholesaler approach the situation?
I just explained that one. Remember, I just started explaining that one.
Okay. I'll be trying to make sure I go down the line. Then they have to come in.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Well, we'll get to your question or your home.
All right. Sebastian Herring said, and we kind of talked about this already too. He said there's a house that shows the mailing address as the vacant house, but no one lives there and no websites pull up a valid phone number. How can I go about contacting them?
Yeah, I sort of went through that
Yeah.
again. You try the
We talked about
neighbors,
that.
and then you try to say if you skip trace, there's nothing. Then you're sending something direct mail or whatever. Try to send it FedEx or UPS.
All right. Frost Fiction Live said, are there any other ways to find good title companies other than Facebook or your local RIA groups? My area is super competitive and people don't play nice with the people something to real estate.
Well, the main thing when people ask that question, of course, this network. It's the people that be out there to help you, man. You just have to ask or whatever. But the main thing is, there's nothing to even worry about unless you have a seller under contract and a buyer in the contract. You finding a title company is not important because you can do all of that, and the buyer don't want to use them. So now, once you actually have a situation where you have a seller in the contract and you have a buyer in the contract, and this may be their first deal, the cash buyer. So now, yeah, you do need to find a title company. So at that point, Google is your friend. You call them, you just start calling or whatever. And until you get someone that'll close that deal, it's a lot easier having that conversation when there's money to be made right now. If you're just calling just to be calling and you don't have anything, you never know who you're going to get on the phone or whatever. That's a different conversation, but you need a deal closed right now. That's a different conversation. So don't even worry about that again, but networking through those groups, you'll find someone that'll help you, man. That'd be just difficult for me to believe that.
All right. Dow Property Solutions said, your proof of funds people charge $800 a year for proof of funds. My company purchased it, but a regular beginner probably won't have that kind of money. Are there any free or more affordable companies?
I'm sure there's probably someone that charges less, and then I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
All right. Can you set
I definitely know it ain't any free one, but go ahead though.
Okay. Can you set up two closings so that your seller and buyer never have to meet?
Yeah, that's possible.
Jonathan Page from YouTube asks, after 30 days, what do you do if you get stuck with the property?
You go back to the seller and you ask for more time. You give it to it. They give it to you. Hopefully, you ask for a price reduction, or you go back to the seller and ask for more time, and they don't. If you're outside of your due diligence period, then they're going to keep your earnest money deposit. You go your way, they go theirs.
All right, this is on Instagram. How to wholesale.
Change one of the phone numbers, please.
How to wholesale on market if dual agency is illegal in your state.
How to do what?
How to wholesale on market deals if dual agencies is illegal in your state.
Well, you have to go with what's legal there. You have to have your own agent and deal with the listing agent. It just makes it more difficult or whatever. What was your question, Ken? You said you had one.
Oh, it was just something. But I was just gonna ask about like real estate agents. Like if somebody, you already have a potential buyer that they're willing to sell, but they don't know, they on the fence about just going to a real estate agent. How do you kind of just like, no, just go ahead and go with me? Like, how can you kind of talk to them and try to
the seller?
Yeah, like because they already motivated sellers, but they still haven't done this before. Like just and you coming to them as a buyer.
Well, you try to just explain the process. It's the simplicity of the process. With going through me is okay. If I look at the property, I like what I see. You and I agree on the price. Okay, the next step is I'm going to email you a purchase and sales agreement so I can start the buying process. This is where we do the title search to see if there are any unpaid liens or anything on the property that you may not be aware of,
Right.
or whatever. And then from there, once that's determined, we'll set up an actual closing time. In most cases, if they're local, we're going to go to the attorney's office or the title company's office. You'll sign the necessary paperwork to complete the transaction of selling it to me or one of my capital partners. You get your money, and we get the keys. We go our way, you go your way. That's simple. we buy it as is, and so we normally pay all closing costs minus any unpaid taxes, mortgages, or liens.
All right. This is on TikTok. They said, "Hey, Flip Man, hope your day is going well. I wanted to ask you if you had an ebook."
Yeah. if you'll text me on the number, I'll send you the link to it. Now, just understand the ebook that I have, right? It's glue. The best way I explain it is it's glue. Number one, I'm not a writer. I actually sit down and wrote that myself. I'm not a writer, but I wrote it with the purpose of giving you a foundation to work with as far as the ebook, right? But you still need to watch the videos. The ebook is used to make sense of the videos. The videos fill in the holes of the ebook. So they really go together. But to answer your question, yes, you'll text me on the 205-964-5243. I'll be happy to send you that link for the ebook.
All right. Have you done any deals in the Atlanta market? And if so, when are you coming back?
Well, have I done a deal up there? I don't think I've ever done a deal in Atlanta. But we're trying every day. Send us something. Under contract, dealing with the owner, a great deal off market. Let's get it.
All right. Nancy from YouTube said, I'm thinking of getting prop stream, but I'm wondering how effective it will be. It sounds like almost every wholesaler uses that. So wouldn't it make it very competitive to generate leads?
Well, think about it in these terms. I mean, number one, I'm a partner of them, so I use it every day, not just because I'm a partner of them, because it's actually a useful tool. You got a smartphone, I got a smartphone, but how I use it to make money is the same. They do the same thing, right? So just because somebody have it doesn't mean they're going to use it and use it to make money. It's the same thing. You got the internet, I got the internet. Just because both of us have it and billions of people have it, doesn't mean everybody's going to use it to do what you're doing, even though that's supposed to be the purpose of it. Well, one of the purposes of it. You know what I'm saying? So you can't think about it that way. Just because there's competition, that only means there's money being made. Are they smarter than you are? No. Well, it may be, but hey, am I smarter than you are? I can answer that question. No, I'm not. The only difference is I didn't worry about what this guy was doing. That just proved to me that it can be done, right? And that's all it did, just proved to me it can be done. And then I took action. That's it.
All right. Denise from YouTube said, can you tell me how to locate investors, friendly title companies in Texas, Nevada, and California?
Can you tell me how to locate investors, friendly? Oh, that's okay. Simple.
Yeah.
Good question, Denise. If you just go to my Facebook group, Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flip Man, and join the group. If you want me, I'll be glad to text you the link, 205-964-5243. And you ask the question in there, what title companies or closing attorneys are wholesaler friendly in XYZ city? Some people going to help.
All right. Let's see. This one's from All About Me. You on YouTube. They say, in order for you to go 50-50 with the wholesale contract, what are you looking for in order to get a buyer, like area, price, etc.?
If you go to dealator.com and go to the Send Deals tab, number one, we have a list of cities that we would target. There's tons of them on there, pretty much the top 60 or 70 largest markets. We're looking for, decent sized city, normally 250,000 in population or more. All right. As far as what makes a deal or not, I have a calculator right there on the site that you plug in the numbers. It'll let you know if you have a deal, but you're going to have to know the ARV, have an idea of the price. You're not sure about all that. That's where my videos come in, that you need to continue to educate yourself, because I talk about all of that stuff. So there you go.
All right. This is on Instagram. If the seller have the deed and not the title, can you still close?
Well, technically, I think they're the same thing. But see, understand with real estate is not like an automobile. See, with an automobile, unless it's lost, there's only one title, unless it's lost, right? And so each time it's sold, that particular title is transferred to the next buyer, to the next potential owner. With real estate, a new deed/title is created each time the property is sold. So them having say, well, I got my title, my deed, that don't mean nothing to me or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because whenever it's sold, a new one is created.
All right. If they don't show up on closing date, well, if the person that's wholesaling doesn't show up on closing date, will they still get paid?
Talking about the wholesale?
If they put it in the contract, will they still get paid?
Well, yeah, but it has to be set up that way. You know what I'm saying? You just have to make sure everybody's on the same page or whatever for that to happen.
All right. I don't think it's that. I think it's when they see them first. You know, they see how much the wholesale.
Well, I think it may also be they may think they can't get off work.
Oh,
I'm assuming some of that
well,
too.
you wholesale full time.
No, they might not can't do that starting out. You know what I'm saying? They may
Yeah,
think they
that's
can't get off work, you know, or whatever. I'm assuming that's why they're asking that. Yeah, you know, some jobs you can't get off. You know what I'm saying? Just no. You can be off, but you take the rest of them too. So everybody just can't get off like that. You know, I've worked those jobs before. You know. Could you get off? What's the name of my joints that I always ask y'all about? Sterling, what's the name?
Oh yeah, you couldn't get off at Sterling.
I'm saying like okay, what's the off day?
You can't take off. Like if you had to take off, you have to put in like months beforehand. Mm-hmm.
So what if you sick?
Just like even at the hospital, the nurses
So
can't take off.
so what if you sick? Oh, how many points you get?
You there if you was a temp, I think you got 3 points.
Yeah, it was 3 years.
If you got 3 points, you got fired.
Okay.
Even with nurses at like UAB, they have to put in I think 2 months ahead of time.
Okay.
Unless they're sick, of course.
Okay.
They're not doing that with COVID.
But they don't being sick is not an option at Sterling. Well, you can do it, but you're just gonna get a point.
Yeah, they don't.
Being late, late half a
It's gonna
point?
throw everything off.
A whole point? Okay.
Because you gotta think it's a 12-hour shift. It's gonna be hard to find somebody at 7 in the morning to hurry come in. Like they already in their job or doing something else.
Yeah.
Well, they'll just put somebody else on the machine. Because most of the time,
But we don't have extras on ours.
most of the time, everybody knows like how to work the machine.
Oh, they do multiple jobs, you're saying?
Yeah, like you might not work just one machine while you're there, or it's not hard. Like they can just show you how to do it. So it's never gonna be a time when they don't have somebody to cover your machine. But
Okay.
the machine has to run every day,
Okay.
whether you there or not.
Okay. We got off on down a rabbit hole, whatever. It just always interests me because that's what I'm saying. I'm assuming they're asking that because they can't get off work or whatever. So, yeah.
But if that wholesaler fee 20,000 or something, I'm gone. I'm sorry.
But that ain't but
Every time.
you know what I'm saying? I'm saying you can't, if you're only making $20,000 a year, then that $20,000 pay may be, hey, screw y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, So, okay, now you're making a real discount. You could probably go get another $20,000 job or whatever. So if needed or whatever. So as long as you manage that bread right, whatever. So.
All right, this is on TikTok. How do you set up 2 closings? Would I need 2 different title companies?
No, it'll be the same title company. The title company has to be okay with doing it. Some of them are not okay with that. That's what you have to realize. If they're okay with setting up a double closing, then yeah, roll with it. But some of them are not okay with that.
All right, this is also on TikTok. Do you recommend sticking with wholesaling or eventually getting into buying and selling?
That's up to you. What's your end game or whatever. If you just base it on what we call return on investment, ROI, is nothing to compare. Spending $100 to make $10,000 versus spending $70 to make $30,000. You tell me. So, but anyway, we've been rolling. Yeah.
I got 2 more.
Okay.
And that don't mean comments, Simone. Josh from YouTube said, how do you comp a property that is a conversion from 4 units to a 5+ commercial property?
Well, still, that's a commercial property just based on income. Just how much income are we bringing in? What are the expenses going out? That gives you the NOI. Now you can determine a cap rate based on the price, or what it's still just gonna be evaluated the same, or whatever, because it's 5 units or whatever, 5+ units.
All right. Mr. Hemi 907 said, my wife has a house inherited through probate. Can I get her under contract under my LLC? We're going to sell the house either way.
Well, you're just selling the house. You're her, I'm assuming, partners by love or whatever,
right?
Marriage or whatever. You're just selling the house. There's nothing you're wholesaling. You all just selling the house. So it's no trying to get it under contract or nothing like that. I know you're trying to make a joke, whatever, but you're just selling the house. I'm sure that all that's going back in the same pot, unless she has to split it with some brothers or sisters or whatever. But it's all going in the same pot. So we've been rolling for an hour, guys. Time to do some work around here. So remember, everything got questions, just text the number 205-964-5243. Text the word contract there. Text the word text. If you're trying to do some text messaging. If you want a copy of the script that I've been using, just text the word script. You want to partner up, text fit 5050, but 205-964-5243. Now you know. So if you're on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. Make sure you like and share this. Literally everything you need to know is right there on my YouTube channel. There's no excuses. You have nothing to lose when the knowledge and training is free.
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-5243.